Welcome to Real Estate After Dark. I'm your host, Larry Castleberry, and to my left and your right,
June King.
June King. That's JK.
Yes.
I call her JK.
Yes.
How are you guys doing today? Doing good?
I am doing good, Larry.
Yeah. Man, why do I feel so left out that I didn't get a chance to go to Vegas?
Because you were.
I am. Because I know it's
are.
crazy. Like, Paul, I know you went to Vegas.
Yes, I did.
That's crazy, man.
It was crazy. It's Vegas.
It's Vegas?
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas.
You guys have a good time?
That's all we can say is yes.
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 Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
I guess
Yes.
so.
That's against all code.
Yes,
If we
absolutely.
really talk about it.
Oh, man.
And so people don't think that I didn't go with Paul to Vegas. Paul went on his own.
Unfortunately, it would have been a
Yeah.
fantastic time, but
I would have slept Paul. You wouldn't. You'd have been like, "I'll leave her alone."
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
You got to enjoy yourself.
I
these days.
did. I had I even hit a little bit.
You did? You
I
won some money?
did.
You won some money?
I
Oh.
I
Yeah.
did not.
Okay.
Lady.
I lost a little grip, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I had a lot of fun.
That's all that
See,
matters.
how I think about it is I'm just playing games as if I would like a Dave and Buster's,
Okay.
Okay.
except I could have won, but I didn't.
You didn't. Okay.
You know, instead of getting the tickets, I lose cash.
Uh-huh.
And that's okay. I set myself a limit,
there we go.
and I did not surpass that limit. So
All right.
I was, of course, hurt, but not as hurt as I could have been.
Right.
That's good.
Exactly. Right.
Look at him setting expectations
I know,
before you go on
right?
vacation. Expectation on vacation. I love it.
Yes.
Well, cool. So we got episode 4,
Woohoo.
more tips for buyers.
Yeah.
I love it, love it, love it. We're going to take you guys through the buying process today. I'm just really excited to go through this because I know we're getting ready for our buyer seminar.
Mm-hmm.
It's that May 17th.
Let me look at the calendar.
Oh,
Let me
we
look
got to
at the
look at them
calendar.
dates.
Let me look at the calendar just to make sure because
love
I
this.
did give the wrong dates the last time because we're human.
June be on top of it, though.
We're human. So, May 18th?
May 18th.
Was it May 18th? Let's see.
Should be that Saturday.
Yeah. May 18th.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
May 18th, getting ready for the buyer seminar. We're going to take you guys through this segment. This segment is sponsored by Burt Inspectors. Burt is a native Texan and U.S. Marine. In 2010, he moved to North Texas from Houston, where he's engaged in commercial landscape construction. Burton Inspectors is a family-owned business of professionals who inspect homes and manage renovations in North Texas area. They offer 24-hour turnaround service and comprehensive inspections with advanced tools. All inspection reports, inspection agreements, and payments are online and protected for your client's security. It's awesome. Bert's like one of my really, really good friends. And I'm telling you, for someone that's meticulous in getting the job done and the technology that he uses,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen a lot of inspection reports, but when you can like click on stuff and it can like open up, like
I find the Burt information.
Bert's, he's a tech guy too.
Okay.
So when I saw his platform, I was like, man, Bert's my guy.
And inspections is super important.
Very, very
Even
important.
on new build homes. Because
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking you didn't need an inspection because it's a brand new home. But
No,
I've learned on the new build home
Mhm.
is some things that they can miss.
of
And
course.
so getting an inspection is important.
Yeah, and they take a lot of, it cut a lot of corners too.
Mm-hmm.
So you need someone that's going to be on your team to really show you that, hey, this is up to date, this is coded, future up to date type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's by builder compliance. So you need somebody on your side.
Absolutely. Well,
I love
how do you get in touch with Burt?
Bert, I don't have his number in front of me actually, but it's on the website. We do have it. It's popped up.
Oh, is it?
On
I
the screen.
did just put it on the screen. So
Okay,
anybody
okay.
who is
I didn't see
watching,
it.
Well, let's get real.
Let's get-
anybody who is, I mean,
We don't have
come on
eyes
now.
in the back of our head. Let's be
Let's
real.
be
Let's
real.
be real,
We need
right?
to let's be real
Okay,
today.
Yeah,
good.
don't have to worry
The
about that with me in the room. Come
The
on
first,
now.
let's be real. We need a job. I
So
mean,
we're
he does his
professional.
job.
Okay, I know.
Paul be on his job.
That's our producer.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that you were able to do that. So I didn't know because I didn't see it from behind. So
Hey,
my bad. I know you're on top of your job, Larry.
hey, man, it's not me. It's Paul.
It's Paul. Paul on
It's
top of it.
crazy.
Yes.
Well, cool. Well, let's recap. Going into this next segment, let's recap like from last week. I know we talked about like finding an agent,
Mm-hmm.
which how important that was, and we also talked about pre-approval and budget. So now we're going to kind of get into more of
Tips.
we're going to do more tips.
Yes.
All right, June's going to set us off.
All right. So touring, with the real estate agent. So what is it like touring with you, Larry?
Well, on the front side, I like to do a lot of different things. Definitely, a lot of people, when they want to go look at houses, I look at tax info. So I provide tax info. I provide school info, commute times to your job. I think that's really important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's super important.
Yes, I may ask you about, hey, are you really big on community versus commute? So I like to perform that too. Property, does the property meet the criteria of what you're looking for?
Okay.
So a lot of times it's, I found this home on Zillow website, and then I may ask a little bit more questions. That fit your criteria? Or did it look good? Things of that nature. What'd you like about it?
Okay.
So just going a little bit more depth. Future developments in the area. I think that's really important too.
It is.
You don't want no big Walmart popping up in your backyard because you're like, I got a cute house, but
I like Walmart though.
Walmart is all right with me,
but I just don't want it in my backyard.
Yes, that's true too. That's true too. The home health. So we talked about that a lot too. Of course, we want the inspector to do their job,
right?
But I have a little bit of an eye when it comes to home health. So some of the precursor stuff I can help you out with a lot from there. Utility averages. So I go really in depth.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yes. I may call the, listed agent. I'm like, do you guys have, average utilities, maybe for winter and also for like summer?
That helps.
Yeah. I think it's very important. So, back to me is just having some of those things that are going to be, available, for the prospective buyers. So I think that's kind of where I kind of have a little bit more of a niche.
That's amazing.
Because I want to cover all those different areas. So a lot of us buyers, buyers agents, we're looking at ways that we can separate ourselves, and those are some of the kind of things that really help me out. But there's a lot of functional things I like to do too. I like to open up cabinets.
Wow.
Turn on AC. Cutting on the water, see how fast the heat comes,
right,
the hot water comes.
Right.
So I do a lot of those small things. Walking the exterior of the landscape. I'm really big on curb appeal, as you may know.
Yeah, Larry likes to be in his grass. Okay.
Oh, I love to be in my grass.
I'll just skip across it, but yes.
Yeah, opening, closing windows, drawers. Some of those kind of fun things. But also, I bring a lot of tools. So I come in with like my bag with some stuff in my bag. Like,
really?
What you got in your bag?
That's awesome.
So one of my favorite tools is it's actually it measures distances in rooms.
Let me see that, Larry.
See that? It's pretty cool. There we go.
So I mean,
so I could hold it up against a wall and it can tell me like how long that wall is.
Really?
Yeah. So you walk in there, you're like, man, this wall is about 20 feet in here. Like, let me find out.
Larry, are you serious?
Boom. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Cool.
So can you do this like when you put up your mirror and stuff like that, or no?
Not really.
Okay.
It measures like just room sizes.
I need one of these.
So a lot of times you're like, we need something that's 20-20. I'm like, okay, let me see if it's 20-20.
What? That's pretty awesome. I've never seen somebody bring that, but
I love it.
Yes.
So, and then my other one is, of course, is a heavy duty tape measure. Okay. So this one goes.
And let me see how heavy duty it is.
Oh, it's heavy.
It is heavy duty.
You can get some workout on that one.
You paid about extra $6 for that one. That's a good one.
I paid a lot of money for this one. Yeah, so pretty cool. But yeah, just kind of having a couple of those things that really help. So what you do
with that, the tape measure?
The tape measure is like, say our couch is, this big. And I'm like, okay, your couch is
huge.
10 feet. So I may show them what 10 feet looks like inside the living room where they would probably put their couch.
It
really helps you out when you're trying to map out furniture. So
that is huge, Larry. And the reason why
even like queen size beds and king size beds.
Yes.
So if you find out the average size for those, you can be like, well, a king size bed is this measurement, and then you can go in the room and say, oh, we can fit a king in here.
I like that because that when I hear people say that, well, my furniture was too big for that, but I've never seen an agent like actually take that. So now if I see some of y'all agents out there, I'm gonna say I know who y'all got it from.
Exactly,
Larry. So that's pretty awesome, Larry.
I love it.
I like the utility thing too because, and the reason why I like that is no one thinks of how much your electric gonna be when you go into the buying process because we don't even calculate it in your monthly expense.
Of course,
and you need to calculate that in your monthly expense because even though it's not in your mortgage, you need lights.
Right.
Yeah. So
And it's the cool thing is like, because I look at, the buying perspective just like a listing perspective. If I was listing your house, I'm going to ask you for utilities because I like to put that as part of the promotion of the house.
right.
So the prospective buyers coming in like, oh, we have an idea of what the utilities are going to be. We have an idea of what the new features of the house are going to be. We have an idea of, how old the water heater is.
Mhm.
When do we install, certain lights? When do we get maintenance done on the roof? So a lot of those things I think in the reciprocal to help
Okay.
buyers to be successful. So I have a listing hat of knowing what to expect. So when I flip into the buyer perspective, I think the same way.
Okay.
So kind of fun.
Perfect. Okay. And then also too, so tips. What are some of the best tools finding a home in your opinion?
To me, I think one of the biggest tools and the most up-to-date tools are MLS search that we have. So we can get you a subscription with our MLS, which is our multiple listing service.
That's what it stands for?
Yes.
Okay.
Where we list all our homes. And the best way we put in all your criteria, you want 4 bedrooms, you want 3.5 baths, you want a large backyard, you want a pool, you want does it have a half bath? Does it have a master bedroom downstairs? We can get really, really specific in what you actually want.
Right.
It's actually one of the funnest parts of finding a home. You get a chance to shop and get what you want. So when I talk about trying to get 8 out of 10 of the best things of the features, this is kind of where we start with. The MLS search is actually the most accurate that you get in knowing how the market is as far as, is it active? Is it the home still available? Is it off the market? Is it pending or is it sold? So as soon as the criteria set up with my prospective buyers, with their emails, that's all they really need. They will get emails daily on homes that are coming on and off the market.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's real time.
Wow, that's awesome.
Real time.
So when you put this criteria in MLS, is it when you first sit down with the buyer so you can kind of know exactly what they want? So that's how you'll know how to be able to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I have my laptop and I just tell them what they would like and I'm clicking it right there in front of them. And I'm asking for the husband's email. I'm asking for the wife email. And they both get the exact same thing.
Oh, awesome.
So if realtors are doing their job by saying things that are active or on the market, I think it gives them an easier concept of knowing like what's out there. But of course, I want to double check and call the agent and make sure the home is still available. You still want to do your due diligence with that as an agent. But this is probably the most effective tool. I mean, Realtor.com is also a great tool also
is
too.
it?
Yeah, it has, it has pretty much everything on the MLS. Zillow has everything on the MLS also too. But what I've noticed, sometimes it takes time for it to address the changes that are going on. Sometimes it could be months, sometimes it could be days, sometimes it could be weeks.
That's why they need to call a realtor. That's why you need to hire an agent so they can call them. That's why you need to call Larry.
Yes.
And so that way you can know what to get. And
exactly.
And it saves you time, right? So that's the reason why you hire an agent, because you got to work, right? And you hire an agent so you don't have to do all that work, because I don't want to do all that work. Nope. So I want you to do that for me.
And the MLS search is iPhone friendly, Android friendly, with an app situation. So when you pull it up and you look at it, from your email, it pulls up very, very friendly for you to kind of see the pictures and get all the data that you need.
Oh,
so
great.
I love it. I think it's like the biggest tool in my opinion. So
great. I think it's a great tool too. Okay. Right. All right. So also, how do you set the expectations to your clients when searching for a home on their own?
The biggest thing with me is, of course, business. This is where business cards come in handy. And I tell them, take a picture of my business card and put it on your phone. Like, you always have your phone with you.
Right.
But the best thing is that when you are going out to look at other homes, you want to let the other people or the other agents and builders and things know that you are represented. And that's a great thing. And they love the fact that you are represented. Sometimes.
And so that's the reason why you need to be represented before you go in there. And I also think that sometimes you will want them to call you before they go. Right. So that way because this is our profession. So we know sometimes some questions to ask directly.
Definitely.
And so, and if they like the home or things like that, you can kind of get into details before they waste any more of their time if that home fits their needs.
Exactly.
So that's the reason why you need to hire Larry.
I love it.
Yes.
Hire me.
Absolutely. All right. Now it's time. I love that home. It's time to make an offer.
That is right.
Okay. So what about making an offer your clients need to understand?
Well, I really think it's more than just an offer, and, contracts they're pretty spelled out in a language that some of us do not understand, and we definitely get schooling for that. And we continue to do continuous education to understand them more. But more than an offer, I mean more like getting the CMA, which is a comparable market analysis, in other terms, is knowing what, the homes are selling for in that area.
Right.
You don't want to overpay for something. You like to underpay for something,
know. Or pay what it's worth.
Or pay what it's worth.
Yes.
So a lot of times when we, before we put in offers, we like to get the heartbeat of what the neighborhood value is going for. So a lot of times it sets us up for making the right offer.
Okay.
Especially for you to win.
So CMA is kind of like, it's like a free appraisal. That's what a CMA
Somewhat.
is. Yes, because it tells you kind of what the homes in the areas are selling for.
Right.
And I always tell people when I'm doing a refinance,
right,
call your realtor that you did business with.
Right.
And give me a CMA, which is kind of like an appraisal before you pay for the money out of pocket.
Yes, that is true.
Okay.
Good way to put it. So, a CMA and also title work. I know you work with a lot of title work in your business, but, me, I can explain a title, to my prospective buyers, but what better way than, getting them in touch with a title rep and have them explain, because that's what they do from day in and day out.
Day in, day out.
Yeah. And in most cases, the seller is paying for the title, but in other cases, I have to explain, if maybe it's a multiple offer situation and they want to win, well, maybe the buyer may want to decide to pay for the title. So it's kind of one of those things that, you definitely want to explain, how that money is allocated.
Right.
So, so you have title work, you also have a survey, so explaining to your clients what a survey is. And it's basically just a map of your property line.
Right.
Yes. And most of the time a seller has one. And if they don't have one, we got to find out who's going to pay for that bad boy.
Right. So, and it's typically like $400.
Yeah, $400 to $500, of course, depending on a lot with square footage and things of that nature. Earnest Money. We talked about Earnest before, but definitely.
Who was Earnest?
Who was Earnest? I think that's Paul's stepbrother or something. Okay. But yeah, Earnest Money. It could be.
It could be my stepbrother.
It could be. But yeah, Earnest Money is when we're doing contracts, it's usually about 1%. Of what the total value of your offer would be that we see up to. You could get a little bit more aggressive with the earnest if you really want the home.
Because you're not really losing the earnest money. So I want people to understand, because I explain that a lot, which is understandable. I'm giving I'm giving $2,000, but it comes back to you,
right?
What you have to bring out the closing.
Definitely. Option fee. Usually we see an option fee is anywhere from $100 to $200. Depending on the value of the property. But an option fee is basically saying, you know what, I'm going to take the seller house off the market for anywhere from 5 to 10 days, and we want to perform an inspection.
Okay.
That's basically. And it could, most of the time it's credited back to you, or if you want to be nice, you can give them that $100, $50, whatever we're doing for the option fee.
Right.
But yes, you want to give, 5 to 7 days of option period, so you can bring in your inspector, who's going to help you.
Bert.
Yep. Bert inspectors. He's going to help you go through the home health, and which is going to also allocate down to possibly getting the financing, make sure it's correct.
Right.
Yeah. Because you can't finance a home that's beat up.
Right. That the health is not so well.
Yeah. And there's certain things that when it comes to the health that will flag for, we're not going to finance
unless you're buying an
home.
Investor. And,
of course.
Unless you're buying a property and you can fix it up. Now, if if you can't screw in a light bulb, then that property is not for you. You need a ready-made home.
Definitely. And also going through the financial period, most cases it's up to 21 days for financing. And we're going to go a little bit more in the financing part in our next
segment.
Episode 5. We're going to go a little bit more on the financing. I know.
Yeah.
Quota.
I know, right?
but yes, the financing period, and then also the seller's disclosure. And the seller's disclosure is like, I would say, like a Bible of the home health,
With,
according to the seller.
right. I was going to ask you. I was just
Yeah.
getting ready. Like you were on my
You
mind.
know
Like I
it.
was just getting ready to ask you that. Okay.
Right. And so basically with the inspection, we would just want to see if it's matching up what the seller's talking about.
Right. Sometimes the sellers don't know because, like, I'm
That's
the type
true.
of person I probably didn't know. I just what I thought, you know.
Exactly. So with my buyers, I want to walk them through that
Mhm.
seller's disclosure. Most likely before we go into contract, because a lot of times you can ask for the seller's disclosure, and the agent would give it to you, and sometimes it's on the MLS for agents to go grab.
Right.
So I love that. And then talking about the warranty, we talked a little bit about home warranties too. Most of the time it's paid by the seller, but if you're in a multiple offer situation, maybe an opportunity that the buyer actually wants to pay for it. And those on average $400 to $600.
Right. Depending
on what you're adding into the warranty.
Yes.
Because we got to do a whole segment on warranties.
A warranty. We do. I was just thinking that when you said warranty, like we have to do a whole
warranties
segment.
are, I think me being competent on warranties, I'm probably like a 6 or 7.
Well, you pretty good. I'm like a 2.
And I learn stuff every day when it comes to warranties and what you can add onto them. We're going to do a whole show on that one. That's going to be crazy. But also the last one will just be in the bottom line offer. So basically it's all the added cost and everything, and what we're communicating to the seller, what the offer actually looks like. Because if I offer $200,000 for a house, with some of these calculations in there, the offer may not look like $200,000.
Right.
With the survey and things of that being added in there, the warranty being added in there, there's some things that will take the cost of the house down that I'm communicating with the seller.
Okay.
So those are fun things.
Perfect. So that's making an offer. And then the next one is the inspection, right?
Right.
So this is the inspection. Are you talking about so we're not talking about the appraisal, because the appraisal is considered inspection as well. We're talking about the inspection. So what length are you seeing these days for the inspection?
Usually depends on the home, but 5 to 7 days is pretty average right now. Sometimes 10. It depends on how we're writing the contract.
Okay.
Yes.
For the inspection.
Yeah. A lot of times you want to get that inspection in there while the option period, and then you want to get a chance to go over the inspection with your buyers. And I know Bert does a really good job just kind of prioritizing and calculating cost. Bert may say, hey, this is kind of a big deal, and I would ask that you would get this prepared. And my job is just really coming in, kind of helping, communicating with the seller's agent. What would you like to pay for, or what the seller would like to pay for, what the buyers are willing to pay for. And sometimes it's done monetarily, and sometimes it's done in repairs.
Because I think when you buy existing home, it's going to be some issues.
Of
it's
course.
A used home, so it's not. So you and the inspector kind of talk it over to see what's important.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what's really can really damage your house and cost you a lot of money. So
of course,
yes,
yeah. And then you allocating it towards the finances part, and what you kind of work with. You want to make sure you're taking care of some of those terms also too, because you ain't gonna get a loan if you got foundation problems.
You sure not. It held up a couple files before,
but
which is a good thing, because I tell them you don't want this house anyway until they get it together.
Of course. Love it. So let's get into the next one, which is appraisal. And who arranges the appraisal, and how much are you seeing in cost these days?
So we schedule the appraisal, lender on the lender side. And usually when I schedule the appraisal, I wait until after the inspection.
Of course.
Just because you and the seller and the buyer is negotiating whatever needs to be done. Right. And if you decide within that option period that you don't want to buy this house, I don't want you to go and pay for an appraisal, because we're not moving forward. Right. I could probably get your money back, but it can take 5 to 7 business days, and it become very hectic. The appraisal fee, and you always want to make sure, because a lot of people, I tell them, it's some upfront fees like the earnest money and the option money that you need to be prepared to pay. The appraisal fee is one of them as well.
Of course.
And so it depends on what type of program. The appraisal fee, FHA, is $550. And we'll talk about FHA on another episode. So everybody's like, what is FHA? So FHA is just a different program. Then you also have conventional, which is $500. And then say you want a quick closing because you want to win a bid, the customer leases up and they need to move. And we need to rush a closing for 14 days.
Okay.
Then we can do a rush for an extra $200, but you can get your appraisal back in a day or two.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that means because it doesn't happen always, but I had one in a situation where the
Right.
lease was up. They, it took them a little while to find a home, their
course.
home.
Yes.
And so they needed to do a rush and then we needed to close in 2.5 weeks.
Well, I know me for a buyer's agent, just having that option just really gives me a lot of just fuel.
Yeah.
And yeah, just knowing you can actually get the job done.
Right.
I love it.
Now I don't like 2-week closings, but I mean I
Yeah.
will.
It's a lot of paper. It's a lot of paper pushing.
No, it's just quick. I mean, it's just like fast.
Yes.
Not like I'm running, but I don't mind running. But I like to sometimes take a quick walk, a brisk
Right.
walk. So so that's with the appraisal.
Okay, so let's get into number 7, the financing. Meeting the requirements of financial approval. June, can you walk us through like the deadline period?
So when we're doing the financing, and so this is very important. So what
Okay.
I do up front is because I don't want to tell you that you qualify for a certain home that you don't qualify for.
Right.
And a lot of people don't really know what they make. They
That's
just
true.
don't. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but they just don't. I'm going through my paycheck like I think they short 3 cents, but
Let me
lot of
get that
people
3 cents back.
right
Immediately.
with interest.
Yes, please.
So a lot of people don't know what they make. So what I do, and sometimes they work overtime or they got like per diem here. So I request all documents up front.
Mhm.
Typically, you would need 1 month of pay stubs and the last 2 years of your W-2s.
Yes.
If you're self-employed, I need tax returns.
Right.
Tax returns. We'll go on the episode of
Right.
self-employed borrowers too, because I had a self-employed borrower before and I had to teach him how to do his taxes
Right.
so he can qualify for a home. So that's important. A lot of people, because just because you're self-employed doesn't mean you don't deserve a home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, documents, verifications, pay stubs, the underwriting commitments. Take me through like the underwriting commitments, because I feel like, right before the file is getting ready to close, that sometimes there's some things that need to be taken care of.
So once we get all your documents, I look at it and I say, okay, and I call you and I say, Larry, they qualify for $250,000. So you
Right.
go out, you start looking for a home. Once you find the home, then it's rock. We in contract.
Right.
Everything is good. We're after our option period. I submit your file, their file, the buyer file,
Right.
to underwriting for the first initial with the pay stub, the W-2s.
Mhm.
The file will come out of underwriting, and underwriting typically want like a few items.
Okay.
So that means that if you were out there shopping for a rate, most people do.
Yes.
They want to know why were you shopping? Why were you shopping with this bank? You just say just to see if you obtained any new credit or anything like that.
Yes.
So it'll be some letters that we have to write, and then once the appraisal is completed, your file goes back into final underwriting. So final means
the final one. Yes.
Final means it's final. It's done.
Yes.
So we already know from the first initial underwriting process
Mhm.
what you needed. So we
course.
gather those things up, and I usually work hand in hand with them
Right.
because sometimes their letters can be a little long. The underwriter don't want to know all of that.
Right.
We just need to get to the meat and potatoes.
Get the meat and potatoes.
Okay, so sometimes I would say just eliminate that.
Right.
And then submit it to underwriting, and then we're ready for closing.
Ready for closing. I love hearing that
Yes.
phone call
Yes.
from you, and you're like, we're ready to go.
Clear to close.
We're clear to close. Let's do
Yes.
it. That's where you want to be, clear to close
Yes.
after 21 days or whatever we have written on the contract. So I love it. So now we're just ready for the closing.
Keys.
We're ready to
Key
get
date.
keys to your house. I
Yes.
love it. So going through all the paperwork, for the purchase, if I'm a seller, what are you seeing like for an average time for sellers to close?
Oh, it's about like on closing day?
Yeah.
That day. So like the seller usually would come in like in the morning,
Mhm.
and then the buyer or the switch watch, right? But
Yeah.
how my company does is that we have the funding that day.
Right.
So what it means is that after the person that owns the home signs the documents, and then the person that's buying a home signs the documents, they send it back to the lender, which is me,
Mhm.
and then within about an hour you'll have your keys.
There we go. Funded is what we're looking for.
Yes.
Funded.
Funded.
I love it. And you get a chance to go get your keys and go get the house.
Don't you give the keys out or no?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, if I'm communicating, if I'm on the buyer side, I'm communicating with the seller. Sometimes they could have those at the title company,
Okay.
which were most of the time people are doing their closings, unless
Okay.
it's remote or somewhere.
Okay.
But between me and the agent, come up with a game plan to get the keys.
Okay.
And so it's I've seen it done many a different ways. Sometimes it's at the title company waiting on them, and the title company can hand them off. Sometimes it's from agent to agent.
Oh, awesome.
So it's kind of fun in that way.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for
That is
tips for home buyers. That's some great information, right?
It is.
So
it's kind of fun.
Get my mind going and me remembering the process. Because
Right.
sometimes I just do the process and I try to be very detailed with my clients.
Right. And people have to understand it's very, these are emotional points in all these different situations where you're going through the inspection. Okay, that's a win, through inspection. We got through appraisal. Okay, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
We got through the option period. Okay, that's a win.
Right.
We need to get a survey. Okay, we got a survey. Okay, that's a win. So there's a lot of parts to just really celebrate as you're going through this process.
Absolutely.
So I think it's pretty awesome.
Well, after Key Day. Okay. So, thanks for listening. So we're going to be talking about episode 5,
right?
The down payment assistance. Everybody like free money, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to be giving lots of information. There's 4 different programs out there. So you definitely want to tune in for episode 5.
I love it.
Right. And then we want to talk about May 18th.
May 18th. Yep.
Home buyer seminar. It's going to be a party.
Love it.
It's going to be free information. It's going to be giveaways.
Yes.
You can meet Larry. He likes to give away stuff. Now, if you come up to me, it might be a different story.
I'm just excited to meet some people.
Yes, absolutely.
I really want to make a difference in people's lives, with home ownership. And man, when people get around and see our excitement and they see our excitement level with just saying, hey, you can own a home, I think it's going to be amazing.
I do. I love my job.
I really think it's amazing.
I love my job.
So.
I love it. When I get up, I never want to take a day off, ever.
That's awesome.
And it's so crazy. But
when you went to Vegas,
I still work.
Yeah, oh, you did.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Hard work.
I love
it.
Well, thanks, guys, for listening. We really appreciate you. Hope you subscribe. We are on Facebook, Real Estate After Dark podcast.
Yes.
And then Instagram.
Yep, Real Estate After Dark.
All right, great. This is June King signing off.
And I'm Larry Castleberry.
Blessings. Apartment.